Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome. I am setting the intention right now that this video find exactly who it is meant for at the perfect time that is meant for them. As I'm recording this, it is the Libra equinox, known in the Northern Hemisphere as the autumnal equinox. We just had the solar eclipse in Virgo. We've been through this powerful portal from new moon to new moon, the black moon at 0 Virgo, new moon to the new moon at 29 Virgo, with that lunar eclipse in Pisces, that total lunar eclipse sandwiched in between the 999 portal. Massive gateway of energy that September has been. This is a timeless reading, but that is the energy in which I am tapping into your energy, your frequency. I'm calling upon all of my beautiful benevolent angels, team, and guides, the angels, team, and guides of those that I am channeling for, setting that intention that the highest, truest, and most healing messages come through for all of my beautiful collective in whatever version of the now you are tuning into this. This next version of you is what Spirit's saying. Like the version of you that's watching this video, even if you generally follow me, even if you're part of the tribe here, there's a brand new version of you that's watching this video right now, because the you that you were yesterday is not the you that you are right now. What a way to kick off the reading, huh? You have healed, you have transformed. Some of you are really stepping into your stability, really anchoring in. I'm feeling with this King of Pentacles, anchoring in not just like outward material success, but you're anchoring in, like we said, this brand new timeline, this brand new version of you, a version that is cooler, more confident, more steadfast. I'm hearing unshakable. And what I mean by that is like the outer energies don't influence you so much. What people think about you doesn't influence you so much. Like you're able to ride the waves of life, the emotional ups and downs, the physical ups and downs as we're moving through this process. And by process, I mean the process of ascension. There's a lot of that is really intense, right? So you're able to ride the waves of all of that without letting it fluster you. And that's not to say you never get bothered, you never get upset, you don't feel emotion. I'm not saying that at all. On the contrary, you know how to feel your emotion fully, so that you can let it move through you instead of like logging it in your system somewhere where it needs to then be released and processed later on. You're able to process it in the moment in a way that is appropriate in any given moment. And what Spirit's, oh, this is interesting. Spirit's actually bringing through sort of a resource for people. And this is going to be great for me too. So I'm really glad that we're talking about this, because like, as I was saying that, like I was contradicting what was coming through in my mind. There was like a conversation going on between me and Spirit as I was speaking. Talk about multitasking, right? I bet some of you can relate. And the question that was forming in my mind was like, well, sometimes you can't process an emotion as it comes up. What if you're in the middle of a work meeting, right? What if you're in the middle of working with a client? What if you are fill in the blank, right? And Spirit said, there are times when you can't fully feel the emotion in the moment, right? And until you get really, really good at alchemizing, right? And it flows through you so quickly, it's more like a thought. There's no attachment to it at all. So it just literally runs through you real quick and is released and alchemized until we get to that point, which is where a lot of people were working toward, right? Spirit's saying at the end of the day, take 5 minutes. Just center, breathe into your heart space, ground yourself, and set that intention to allow any of the emotions that were unable to be expressed throughout the day to come up. Almost like a meet and greet with whatever emotions are within you that haven't been released yet, and then let them go. Right? Work through that process of alchemy. That's really, really beautiful. So thank you, Spirit, for that. All right. moving back to what we were talking about before. But that's the energy that you're in, right? That discipline. Some of you guys, it's about discipline too. If you've been working to create more discipline, Virgo season is very much about that, right? It's about the 6th house, our daily habits and routines. What do we do in order to strengthen ourselves mentally, spiritually, physically? What habits do we have in place? What structures do we have in place that allow us to thrive? All right, so some of you guys might have been working on that. And one of the things that you may have been working on has been this energy of developing the discipline to say, meditate for a certain amount of time every day. Make your bed every morning. I'm feeling like somebody here has been going back to the basics of that kind of stuff. Whatever it is for you that helps you to feel more centered, that helps you to feel more focused, more in control, not in the like rigid sense, but you know what I mean? There's a positive way of feeling in control. There's a way where we take that to a level that becomes unhealthy. Right? So that for some people, there's like, you're really stepping into that. You're embodying that. Some of you are working to manifest and create, whether this is, I'm definitely feeling abundance and prosperity for some, joy, fulfillment, whatever it is, love for a couple of you. You've realized that in order to do that, you have to embody the person that has that. How does that person think? How does that person dress? How does that person talk? How does that person move through the world? And some of you are really anchoring into that frequency on the other side of this 999 portal and all this energy, or whenever you're finding this, right? So I'm really loving that. Generosity is coming through as well here, particularly with the 4 of Pentacles coming out. So there's this energy where Spirit's saying, don't hold on too tightly to things right now. Work with that. Some of you guys have to work with it. For some, it's about learning how to receive. For some, it's about learning how to give. For some, it's both. All right. Especially if you're trying to, well, if Spirit's saying anything, it doesn't just apply to money and prosperity, although that's where we hear this being brought through the most. But even when it comes to love, right? We don't hold on. We don't cling on to it. Right? We let it pass through us, just like the emotions. Everything is meant to move. There's supposed to be a flow of everything moving through us. All right. Money is meant to pass through, to change hands, right? That's currency, right? There's a current, there's a flow. All right. Love is meant to do the same thing, connection. So really working with that energy of understanding that the ebb and flow, understanding your own cycles, and allowing things to flow without constricting the energy by holding on too tightly to things. I got the Hermit under that. The 9 card, right? 999. We talked about that as I'm filming this. Just completing. We also have a 4 with the 4 pence here. But that's also the Virgo energy that we were talking about with the 6th house, with the solar eclipse that we just had. And I'm not sure if these readings are going to connect or not. I just did a video for TikTok. And there was this energy coming through about a complete paradigm shift, a complete perspective shift, like this sudden realization or epiphany. Some of you may be in that energy as well. Or what I'm feeling is like the shift that's just happened for you and all the work that you've been doing that led up to that shift. I feel like some people finding this is like, you feel like it isn't working. You're like, yeah, everyone, I keep like stumbling on readings on YouTube that people are telling me that I've shifted. I keep feeling internally as though I've shifted. But like, I'm not seeing any evidence of that in my outside world. And even in my personal life, I feel like sometimes I am kind of like falling back into old patterns, old habits. And like, what's coming through is that you have shifted and things are going to change, whether it's how you feel inside. And of course, that has to change first before you see outside stuff. Although for some of you, I'm feeling like the outside stuff might come first and be the impetus that helps get you over the finish line. That's going to be relevant for who it's relevant for, even the way I worded that, over the finish line. All right. But it's this energy of like, it's going to happen in an instant. And I just grabbed my pie right here. And I'm not sure why I felt called to grab it. Maybe some of you should work with this, particularly if you're working to manifest clarity, breakthroughs, abundance. Let's see. Yeah, Spirit's saying Emperor in reverse. Make sure that you are allowing things to flow. One of the lessons, remember I talked about like the high vibrational way of being in control? But one of the lessons is understanding the difference between the high and the low vibrational way of doing that. Meaning the way that opens things up for you and the way that restricts things. All right, you want to be in control in the way that expands you, not restricts you necessarily. Although Spirit is throwing out as a caveat there that life is a series of expansions and constrictions. So for some of you, if you're going through a period where you're feeling more constricted, just know that's preparing you for your next expansion. That's like a little side note here. But it's this energy about learning how to release control in order to gain control. How to move with the flow of energy, move with the flow of life here. That's so funny. I don't know what this relates to, but there's never like an accidental thought when I'm doing a reading. So I was just thinking as I was shuffling, and I have one friend in particular who always makes fun of the way I shuffle the cards because I have tiny hands, you know what I mean? And I can't do like, you know how some readers shuffle like this and, you know, all the fancy ways. But I do like bridge the cards and shuffle them like that. And I was just laughing because when I was younger, I could never do that with a deck of cards. I used to play a lot of cards when I was younger. My father, before he passed, he was big into gin rummy. He also taught us how to play poker. So we used to play card games with him a lot and some other ones. And so, but I could never, I was always in awe of the way that he could bridge the cards together. And so it just like, I giggled looking at how easily I do that now. You know, it's still not as good as like some of the, you know, it's I do it the way I do it, right? But the fact that I'm able to do it at all. And so there's something with that. There's something about recognizing the little wins, recognizing all the things you can do today so easily and effortlessly that a past version of you couldn't imagine being able to do. And this is little things like shuffling a deck of cards, but this is big things too. So Spirit's saying you've come a lot further than you've realized. It's just some of the shifts that you've made up until this point. It's like once the shift happens, it becomes so effortless that you forget that you ever couldn't do it. You know, it's just like I always tell people when it comes to like spiritual knowledge or different things like that. People ask me like, when did you learn that? Or like, what was the process like of you learning that? And I can never answer that question because it's more of a remembering for me. So the second I hear something that is to me resonant as spiritual truth, it's like I never didn't know it because I'm remembering what I had forgotten, right? It's just like getting a little reminder. So that's like a similar kind of energy to what I'm talking about here. It's like so many things that you do effortlessly today, you actually worked really hard to get to the point of being able to do at one point. So give yourself a pat on the back for that. Give yourself credit for that. I feel like I'm speaking to a collective very like myself, and I channel for a lot of Virgos because I have a Virgo moon. So your moon sign draws your crowd a lot of times, particularly when it comes to business service, the ways that you give back, the ways that you connect, right? It's the moon, it's the emotional energy. And so I know like Virgos, we have the Virgo energy coming through really strong today, right? As we just shifted into Libra season today. But, you know, we got all that for those Virgo eclipses, all that Virgo eclipse rather. The black moon on the end of August, 0 Virgo feels like an eclipse too. Like it was part of that portal. So I digress. There's this energy of like being hard on yourself, right? That perfectionistic energy, that energy that doesn't stop to celebrate the wins or give yourself credit because you're always moving on to the next thing. And you have an idea of your greatest potential. Or maybe not. You think you do. That's what Spirit's saying. Your greatest potential is far greater than what you can imagine, right? But you have an idea. You know you've got potential. It's just like, you're like, all right, we got to get you there. You know, talking to yourself. And so it's like, in that process, you forget to celebrate how far you've come. So Spirit is saying, this is a direct order. This is like a prescription from the universal doctor. Take some time out today to celebrate your wins, to celebrate your successes, to give yourself that proverbial pat on the back for all the things you've accomplished, all the ways that you've grown that you have not yet given yourself, taken the time to give yourself credit for. And for some of this, maybe you have, but Spirit's saying, give yourself a little bit more credit. Like you took 5 minutes, you need to take 5 days. All right. I know I almost said 5 hours, but Spirit was like, no, say 5 days. All right. Because like it needs to feel uncomfortable like that. Spirit's saying this could be an exercise in self-love for some people too. Some people, right? where it's like, love on yourself until it feels uncomfortable. Like maybe you can congratulate yourself briefly and like, oh, you did that well. Or good for you, good for you. Give yourself a little pat on the back, but then move on really quickly. Spirit's saying, love on yourself until it hurts, in the sense of like, it makes you feel really uncomfortable inside, and then do it for 5 more minutes. All right. Give yourself all the compliments. Give yourself all the hugs. I mean, really just work that energy. It's no accident that one of my gifts that I am so grateful to have received is in the form of the medium of rose quartz, right? Because I'm working very much on my own journey right now in self-love, self-appreciation, opening my heart chakra. Everything that I've done, this is, for the people that have been with me for a long time here. Because I've been on YouTube for 5 years now. That's crazy. I've been doing all of this from a partially closed heart chakra. And I think there's a part of me that's almost afraid to see who I would be if I were able to operate with a heart that was fully open. But I'm ready to find out. Everybody who's still watching this reading, you're ready to find out too. Maybe it's not particularly the closed heart for you. Whatever it is, whatever block, right? They're only blocks for as long as we allow them to be, as long as we see them that way, right? Whatever has been holding you back, we'll put it like that, or been an excuse for you to hold yourself back, whether consciously or unconsciously. You're ready to move past that now. You're ready to see what that next version of you is like, even if it scares the hell out of you. Let's see what else we got for cards here. Got the Knight of Pentacles, the Lovers, and the Queen of Swords in reverse. Somebody is feeling some type of way right now, is part of the energy that I'm getting here. This is definitely a standoffish kind of energy with the Queen of Swords in reverse here. Let me see. I'm feeling into this. Okay, so what I'm feeling somebody who's really irritated because there's an offer that they thought was coming that they have not yet received. And it's really interesting because my eyes fell on the little yes here. I don't know if you can see that or not. It says yes right here. You probably can't. But an offer they want to accept, but that offer hasn't come in yet. And this could very much be in love. It doesn't have to be for everyone. This is Gemini energy with the Lovers as well. So this is the energy of duality. It's the energy of communication too. So this could be regarding some type of contract, some type of social media situation, some type of conversation that you were expecting to have that just hasn't happened. Just something that you've been waiting on. And I feel like someone's getting really impatient or really tired of waiting here is what it feels like. I'm also feeling this energy of somebody recently getting out of a relationship with somebody who was very cold. Maybe somebody who's still healing from a painful relationship with somebody who was emotionally detached. Somebody who was very critical maybe of them. This is feeling like somebody who dated a version of their mother, could be father too, but like for like what's coming through right now as I'm feeling like mother. And this is a pattern that you're healing now, where you're seeing where this came from. And you're like, I don't know why I'm still drawn to this energy. I'm feeling like for somebody specifically, maybe your mother passed away. And so you are like, you're trying to preserve her memory through interacting with people who remind you of her. But you're seeing that this isn't, it's like, and I'm not, and like whoever that's for, it's not to say that your mother was a terrible person. I mean, you know this, right? Like there are parts of her that you love very, very deeply, but there were also some parts of her that were a little bit sideways. Like I'm feeling somebody who was a little bit passive aggressive, or who had like said mean things sometimes, or was maybe too blunt, too truthful in a way that was almost like vicious at times. Like I'm kind of feeling like that energy. Maybe like your parents fought a lot. Like your mother was very vocal, very like combative kind of in a sense. And like you love that because it was like she was a strong woman, but it was intense. It was overbearing at times. That's kind of the energy that I'm feeling here for somebody. So somebody, it's like that moment where you realize that you were dating your mother over and over again, but you were finding like worse and worse versions of her, if that makes any sense. And for some people, this is just finding yourself in a relationship with somebody who was cold, who was withholding, or maybe this was you in a certain relationship or connection here. And I think the way this connects to what I felt in the first place is somebody who was waiting for a conversation from somebody, waiting for somebody to make an offer. This person's healing from all of that. So they've got some heavy stuff going on right now. And that's why they're perhaps not reaching out to you. I love how we have all these little like side messages that come out here in these readings. And maybe they're all connected for somebody who's watching this too. That's always possible. For somebody too, I feel like I'm also speaking to somebody, speaking of side messages and different storylines, right? I feel like I'm also speaking to somebody who maybe has been really disconnected from their own sexuality for quite some time and is finding a reconnection of that energy. Perhaps you're going to be meeting somebody or doing something. I feel like some of you guys, it's even like a health thing that you're addressing. Or if you're in a relationship, maybe you're addressing this head on, or you're like going to counseling together, or there's something that's happening where you're that Gemini energy of communicating again. And it's going to help you reclaim that aspect. And this is where this ties in again. So some of you may want to watch the reading on TikTok. I think I'm going to post it on the Minis channel once I get it. I'm not sure which videos are going to be uploaded first, because I'm recording everything first, and then I'm going to deal with all of that. But you might want to watch that, because it was about getting your spark back, getting your charisma back. I think I called it the Zaza Zoo. So, some of you, it's like that energy is coming back because of the ways you're taking care of yourself now, because of the ways you're healing, because of the ways that you're perhaps approaching a situation instead of like ignoring it and pretending it's not there, right? Sweeping it under the carpet, under the rug. And for some of you, it's because you're getting more out there in a social sense too. And that is going to be healing for you. Just developing connection again, particularly if you've been especially isolated lately. And in the reading I did for TikTok, like that lately had been like a year or so, at least, more for some people. So take the lately with a grain of salt, right? Oh, now we've got the Emperor upright. I like that. We went from reverse to upright here. And then we have the Page of Pentacles. So we got the Knight and the Page and the King of Pentacles here. So lots of Pentacles. We got a whole evolution of energy. We're kind of moving backwards though, right? Knight, King, Knight, Page. That's interesting. Interesting. So Spirit is saying with that, don't get caught up in the negativity. For some of the people I'm reading for, I feel like you've been in this process of moving out of negativity. And Spirit's saying, don't get pulled back into that energy, whether this is like negative self-talk, whether this is worrying, stressing, all of that kind of stuff, like doubting yourself. That energy is what's going to pull you from this back down to this. The page is not a bad card, right? But it is a more immature version of this energy. All right, so take like the positive, like that childlike energy, that beautiful like inner child energy in the positive sense, right? The healed inner child energy. That energy of desire and spontaneity and excitement and wonder, but not the fear, the worry. For some of you guys, all right, this is the final message here for this. There's some aspect of your inner child that needs to be healed. It's like the piece of completion here that was really affected by this energy in your childhood, in your upbringing. This anxious energy, maybe you had a parent who was very anxious. There were a lot of financial struggles I'm feeling for some people. There was a lack of emotional support. So this goes back to that energy, the mother energy that we were talking about, right? Doesn't have to. For some of you, it could have been a father figure, could have been a step parent, uncle, aunt, who knows, right? But this energy was present somewhere in your childhood. And you learned to be stressed out. You learned that life was stressful. You learned to worry, right? Or you were not, like I said, you just weren't emotionally supported. So you felt very hopeless. You struggled with maybe a lot of depression when you were younger, anxiety, depression. And some of this is like energy that you've been healing up until this point. And Spirit's saying, going back to the root of that as that little child and giving yourself whatever you didn't get there. This is where for some people where I said like going to therapy or something, if you didn't have a chance to express your emotions, find a way that you can do that. Is there someone you can talk to now? It'll be very healing to be able to do that, to express the things you couldn't express back then. That's another meditation. Remember we talked about sitting at the end of the day, 5 minutes to let yourself feel and process all the emotions you had to kind of push back down during the day. Same thing. Sit with your inner child. Allow yourself to feel those emotions that your inner child maybe couldn't feel, that your inner child had to push down, push away, either for safety, because they weren't understood, because they had nobody to validate them, they had nobody to support them through that process. Maybe it wasn't okay to feel. All right? Give yourself permission to do that. And then ask your inner child what will make it happy, what will be healing for it. It'll give you a vision. It'll give you a suggestion. It'll give you an inspiration. Follow that inspiration. All right. I love you guys so much. I hope that you enjoyed this reading. If you want a personal reading, astrology reading, energy healing, past life regression, entity removal, any other things that I do, all the information is in the description box below. Go to my website, check out my services, shoot me an email. It's my honor and privilege to support you in any single and every single way that I can, including making these videos. And I do ask for your support back by liking this video, sharing it if you know somebody it would resonate with, subscribing if you have not yet done so, all the things. All right. I'll talk to you soon.